Ancestral on YouTube, and like I always do it, always ready to serve you the best of sporting content. After 90 minutes of football action at the Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid suffered a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Bayern Munich. So going into the return encounter at the Allianz Arena, Madrid have a mountain to climb. For manager Arbeloa, he's of the opinion that Madrid can overturn the scoreline and qualify at the expense of Bayern Munich, and that if you're a Madrid fan and you think the comeback is not possible, forget about going to Germany, forget about the return leg. Don't make it an agenda to go to Germany and watch the return leg at the Allianz Arena. And slightly, I will support Arbeloa. I think if there is any club that you can bet your last peswa on when it comes to making a comeback in the UEFA Champions League, I think that club is Real Madrid. In terms of history, they've done it several times in the UEFA Champions League. Well, time will tell if they can do it against the Bayern Munich, coached by Vincent Matip company. Well, looking at the performance of the two teams, I'll give it to Bayern Munich when it comes to having the game under control, and also when it comes to tactics. I think they convince me much more than Real Madrid. I think with their setup, which was a 4-2-3-1 formation, Vincent Matip company was tactful and he was so smart because he had more legs in midfield, and that was possible because his wingers pulled up. His wingers were always ready to drop deep and help in midfield. So without the ball, they had a 4-5-1 formation with Hurricane as the focal point of attack, with Olise dropping to midfield, with Luis Diaz also dropping to midfield, and the two joining the three players already in midfield. That made it 5 in midfield because Serge Gnabry will also draw to midfield, and Hurricane will remain as the focal point of attack. So this formation clearly gave Bayern Munich balance, and that made it difficult for the wingers of Real Madrid to exploit spaces and also create clear-cut chances. I think what really affected the output of Madrid in the attacking third, Mbappe was a big issue, and also Madrid were lacking out-and-out wingers, apart from Vinicius Jr., who was always a thorn in the flesh of Bayern Munich. I think the addition of another out-and-out winger would have improved Madrid's attacking threat against Bayern Munich. And this is a game that I think Madrid needed Rodrigo. Yeah, this is a game that Madrid needed Rodrigo. Mbappe is a problem, and I have my reasons. Though he's scoring, but I think Mbappe is a problem, and they need to solve this problem. His position is a problem. Yeah, and always he's always withdrawing to Vinicius Junior's end, and you know Vini need space to operate. So with Mbappe always withdrawing to Vini's end, there is an overload, and that overload is not to the advantage of Real Madrid. So sometimes it makes it difficult for Vini to also have that room to run at defenders and also cut in and go in for that killer or shot. So though Mbappe scored and he was also threatening because of the long passes that was coming in from Trent Alexander-Arnold I still think that his position, how he positions himself, sometimes affects the output of Vinicius Junior. And also, Madrid setup, they went into the game with a 4-3-3 formation. And with a 4-3-3 formation, clearly it means you are going to, or you have the intent of dominating and also creating more chances, because 4-3-3 formation is an attacking minded formation. But with this setup, Mbappe, who was the focal point of attack, hardly will drop and help the midfield. Also, Vini Jr. will hardly drop or withdraw and help the left back of Real Madrid. And the right back of Madrid also had the same problem. So that made it so easy for Luis Diaz and Olise to run at their fullbacks. Olise was always running at the left back of Real Madrid, and Diaz was also doing the same thing. So where were the players to protect the two fullbacks who defensively are not really solid, are not too good? So I think Vincent Jean Matip Company did his homework well, and I think he came, he saw, and of course he conquered. For Arbeloa, I will not say he was disappointing because he had a hand in the goal that Real Madrid scored. I think his substitution really influenced the play of Real Madrid. The introduction of Brahim Diaz and also Jude Bellingham gave Madrid that needed sense of urgency and impetus, and that contributed to Madrid scoring their only goal of the game. So his changes were solid, and I think he should have made those changes way too earlier. I think he delayed a bit with his changes, but hey, it really affected and improved the performance of Real Madrid in the attacking third. I think one reason why Madrid failed to score more than a goal was Manuel Neuer. So no wonder Neuer was adjudged as the MVP. At age 40, he pulled up 9 incredible saves. 9 solid saves. I will not say incredible. If I say incredible, then it's like I'm exaggerating, so I will not say incredible. But 9 solid saves, and he was a problem for Real Madrid. Just opposing his performance to the performance of Andre Lunin, I think this is a game that Real Madrid missed. Thibaut Courtois. Neuer was doing it for Bayern, and I think Thibaut Courtois would have done the same thing for Real Madrid, and it could have been anybody's game, but the absence of Thibaut Courtois is a problem or is a headache for Real Madrid. And if they go into the return encounter without Thibaut Courtois, I'm not too sure about their chances of qualifying at the expense of Bayern Munich. Well, I'll be wrapping up, and I'll be giving you 3 reasons why I think that Bayern Munich will qualify at the expense of Real Madrid. Bayern will progress to the next stage of the competition, and that Madrid is very likely they will be eliminated. One is Manuel Neuer. I think beating Manuel Neuer is a big headache. I'm not saying that he's not going to concede, but I think his experience and his confidence in goal posts. You saw how he was making those runs. You saw how he was making those runs and playing as a sweeper goalkeeper. I think Neuer is a headache. How is Real Madrid going to go past Manuel Neuer and score, let's say, 3 goals or 4 goals? That is a headache. That is a problem. My second reason, the fullbacks of Real Madrid, they do not know how to defend. If Madrid will go into the return encounter with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Carreras as fullbacks, I think that is a problem for Real Madrid. And I do not know how they are going to give them cover. Because with this game, they need to go to the Allianz Arena and score. So clearly they will open up and they will go forward. If they go forward, there will be space for Olise to exploit. There will be space for Luis Diaz to also exploit. And my last reason, I think tactically, the shape and also the formation of Bayern Munich is much more solid than Real Madrid. The expose and the gaps in the setup of Real Madrid makes it so easy for Bayern to thrive. It makes it so easy for Harry Kane, for Olise, for Luis Diaz, especially their defense. Rudiger, I think Militao was a bit okay, but Hudson and Rudiger and also Trent and Carreras, I think their presence their presence makes it so easy for Bayern to thrive in the attacking third. So these are my reasons, and I think though you cannot afford to rule Real Madrid out because of their profile, because of their pedigree, and because of their history, but I think it's a daunting one for Real Madrid. Let me hear from you in the comment section if you think that Madrid will overturn the scoreline and qualify at the expense of Bayern Munich. Do what to subscribe to Saban Media Sports Extra on YouTube for the best of sports and content. Have a wonderful day.